Hey everyone, welcome to another MTG Arena video. For the first time in a while, I'm sitting in front of the MTG Arena client. It feels good to be back, honestly. Most of my time has been spent playing Moto, playing Pioneer specifically, to get ready for Pioneer events at DreamHack, to get ready for the upcoming DGen Open, which is also Pioneer. And I played the DGen Patron event yesterday, which I did record. I didn't stream it, but I recorded it, so that will be posted later this week. I ran the same blue-white control deck I ran previously in my last YouTube video, so I didn't want to run two of the same deck back-to-back on YouTube, but it is downloaded, it is edited, and you will see it later this week. But let's get into some Standard. We're going to play some Standard today, and I saw this deck published by Arne Hushenbeth, who is one of my Magic heroes, one of my favorite players, and he chose this Temur control deck to play recently on the ladder, and I think it's kind of cool. So obviously, the Izzet core is unfamiliar to no one. Everyone knows Expressive Iteration, so good it recently got banned in Pioneer. Multi-format all-star, smooths your draws, finds your lands, nothing not to like about this card. Fable of the Mirror Breaker, probably the best card in Standard, frankly. The value you get off this card is insane. You get a 2/2 creature, mana accelerant, you get card filtering, and then you get flipped another 2/2 later on. All for 2 mana, and that flipped 2/2 can copy your other creatures in the deck, and we have some big ones to hit. But before we get into those, we can continue with the rest of the Izzet core. 4 copies of Voltage Surge, sneakily probably the best removal spell in Standard right now. For 1 mana, if you have an artifact lying around, which is not difficult in all these mid-range fights, you can do 4 damage to any creature, and most of the threats in the format are 4 toughness. Your Rafines, your Goldspan Dragons, that kind of stuff. All of these get answered for 1 mana with Voltage Surge. Pretty big deal to have access to this card. 2 copies of Flame Blessed Bolt as well to deal with the surge of tenacious underdogs that are in the format right now. And counterspells, a suite of counterspells that play nicely with Goldspan Dragon. 2 copies of Make Disappear, 2 copies of Negate, and a bunch of extra counter magic in the sideboard that we'll go over in just a second. So we're at the point in Standard where we have access to a ton of sets, and that means the mana is good. So the downside to splashing a 3rd color is minimal, and so you take this as a core and you wonder, what can I add from a 3rd color? And some people look at this problem and they answer, I want to add black, because black gets me the Vampires package, and I'm going to run Evelyn, and I'm going to run the Blood Tithe Harvester, and I'm going to outgrind my opponent with those cards and with discard spells. That's pretty strong. A lot of teams did that at the recent Streets of New Capenna Championship. You could also add white. If you add white, then you get access to Hinata, and Hinata makes your Magma Opus cheaper, and it can be difficult for your opponent's mid-range plan to interact with your massive go-over-the-top late-game plan. And that, of course, was a strategy that ended up winning that Streets of New Capenna Championship. But what happens if you add green? Well, that depends what kind of green cards you're adding, and the green cards are pretty situational, but in this particular meta, they might line up fairly well. So 3 copies of Titan of Industry are one of the most compelling reasons to splash green. It does feel weird to say that you're splashing a card that costs 3 green pips to cast, but we have access to a ton of treasures. We have access to a pretty solid mana base. It actually, you can cast this much easier than you might otherwise think that you could. And also, just a bunch of decks right now simply cannot answer Titan of Industry cleanly. If it doesn't get countered, if it touches the board, then you get 2 giant creatures, one of which has a shield counter on it. It dodges Meathook Massacre pretty well. Vanishing Verse is just a 2-for-1. If someone casts Vanishing Verse on your Titan of Industry, they're 2-for-1ing themselves. There just aren't a whole lot of clean answers to a Titan of Industry. And if you're up against an aggro deck, just slamming this on turn 5 or 6 is something that they might not be able to beat, period. The other main green card, which is an interesting inclusion, is Briar's Tracker. So Briar's Tracker has Vigilance, which is great against Wandering Emperor. It creates a clue token, which is great for enabling your high-cost voltage or your low-cost voltage surges. It is a 4/3 for 3 that just beats down and can win in stalled board states. And also it has 3 toughness, which dodges a lot of the relevant removal spells in the format, most of which do 2 damage. Your Voltage Surges without help, your Flame Blessed Bolts. 3 toughness is a pretty good place to be in this meta. 2 is not where you want to be, 3 is pretty good. And then in the sideboard, we also have, in addition to like the normal suite of counter magic that we expect, we also have access, in addition to the Hullbreaker Horror, which is one of the big uncounterable threats, we also have Coma. Coma is basically your Hullbreaker horror that's very good in this particular meta because the dominant removal spell is Vanishing Verse and Coma dodges it. Any creature that dodges Vanishing Verse actually has a reasonable chance of surviving. If the opponent isn't running literal Infernal Grasp, and if they don't have it immediately the turn you slam Coma, it can just run away with the game. So that is the plan for today. I'm going to try to upload more regularly. We're going to upload a bunch of different formats every week. I want to make sure that everyone who's joined the channel recently, probably because of the recent Pioneer video, gets the content that they want, but I also want to make sure that people get the arena content that they sub for in the lead up to today on this channel. So we're going to try to publish a lot more content and try to make everyone happy. We'll see how that goes. In the meantime, we're going to see how this particular deck does. So let's hop into some games. Okay, on the draw, with an okay opening hand. Probably we want to have Expressive Iteration available on 2. I guess we have to play Hall into Crag Crown Pathway and just hold up double Dwyer Disruption, which does not feel outstanding. And then we don't have the green for Briarbridge Tracker. Even though it's awkward, I still think it's a keep. Sandra's Lounge, so we're up against what's probably Grixis Vampires. Being on the draw, these Dwyer Disruptions are significantly worse. But we do have it available here in order to counter a Fabled Passage, or not Fabled Passage, Fabled Mirror Breaker. It does slam it. And this is an excellent chance, I think, just to resolve our own Fable that we drew up the top. That's a pretty good draw. We still don't have green to be able to cast the Briarbridge Tracker, but hopefully the Fable creature will be able to help deal with that. Sandra's Lounge is the Grixis one, right? Right. Infernal Grasp hitting our token feels a lot better than it hitting our Prismari Dragon. So I think we're just throwing away the Briarbridge Tracker and the Fading Hope. Neither of those seem all that great in this matchup. So the question now is, are we going to slam the Prismari and take the shields down for a turn 5 Goldspan Dragon or Evelyn? I don't think so. We'll just play Expressive Iteration, hit untapped land. Bolt Surge seems reasonably good, especially it's obviously top tier with the Galzeth Prismari. We don't have any other real card draw though. I think I want the Iteration. Put back the Voltage Surge and we'll exile the land. And I guess this land goes... I guess this land goes on green. Because I do want to actually be able to cast Titan of Industry if we draw it. Okay. We drew the second Galzeth Prismari. These Dwyer Disruptions are just getting worse. If I play the Galzeth Prismari, create the treasure, I'll have the Dwyer Disruption open anyway, although at this point I don't think it'll hit all that much. It does give them a window to resolve an Evelyn if that's what they have, so I guess that's a good reason not to do that. So I suppose we're just playing another iteration here. I'll take a Goldspan Dragon. And I'll play this on blue. We do have Evelyn. We are going to counter it. And then they kind of need to answer the Kiki Jiki on board, because if we untap with, that's pretty good. If we untap with a Kiki Jiki in play, with a Goldspan Dragon in hand, then we're in very good shape. But now their shields are kind of down. Have a 3/3, and we're going to resolve Goldspan Dragon. We play Goldspan Dragon, make a treasure, attack, 2 treasures, play the Prismari Dragon, have another treasure up. That seems quite good. Wonder what's in their hand. Oh, I miscounted the amount of mana I had. Oops. No, so no Prismari Dragon. That's not good. I'll take Harvester, sure. That's still not able to kill the Goldspan Dragon yet. So I think the plan is just to keep on attacking. Interesting. So we're gonna make another treasure. We could use 2 of these to animate the hall, have 4 mana left to play the Prismari Dragon. In that case, we don't have Jori Disruption available anymore, but maybe that's okay. They are pretty low on cards in hand, and we get to put a bunch of pressure on them. I think I like it. Sure, okay. Opponent had enough. I don't think that was a losing spot for them or anything. There were definitely cards that could get them out of that spot, but they had enough of me. Okay, so we have the sideboard guide, and that makes it easy on us. Bring in the Burn Down the House. Coma, sure. Coma against, like, a deck that showed us a couple Infernal Grasps doesn't seem quite as good, but we'll trust Arna in this. Negate, Bankbuster, only 1, and Spell Pierce. Weird. I mean, Spell Pierce really didn't seem to hit all that much out of them, but I don't know. Grixis is a weird deck to play against because, like, they're kind of just a control deck, but most of their control elements are creatures. It's weird. Fading Hope does seem pretty bad. It's weird that we have a Coma instead of a Titan. I guess the idea is that they're likely to board into a bunch of counter spells against us specifically, so even if Titan is better in game 1, Coma might be better in games 2 and 3. I guess I can buy that. Not wanting to tap out for Prismari Dragon is something I definitely understand, and Voltage Surge doesn't seem to... I mean, they have a lot of 2 toughness creatures, so Flameless Bolt does seem better, and they don't have a lot of 4 toughness creatures. Like, everyone's 5 toughness, so Voltage Surge doesn't really help there. Not bringing in any of the strokes, I guess, also makes some sense. I think Evelyn might be the only hit. Okay, I think I can buy this sideboard plan. Let's try this. Okay, on the draw with an Unkeepable Hand. This is better, but still not what anyone would describe as good. I think we keep this, and... do we actually put back the Coma? Seems super unlikely that we're going to get to cast it, but if we draw any ramp element, maybe it's fine. Probably just supposed to put back the Shatter Skull. It is our second red source. Maybe it's the cast or the Bark Channel pathway that we're supposed to put back. Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, I think so. Okay. Actors Lounge tapped. We're just gonna play this tapped. With Voltage Surge at the ready. Probably Bloodtithe Harvester. No, there's Bloodthirsty Scab. They're getting into it too. I think we just do this on site. Play the Cascade Tap to be able to Iteration next turn if the opponent can't put any pressure on the board, but truth be told, Fable of the Mirror Breaker is probably about to happen to us, and we don't have a good answer this time. I know. Okay. Kaido's a good one.
You'll never see me coming. Now,
Kaido and loot right away is bizarre. Burn Down the House is precisely on time, I think. Maybe not. Kaido might outsize burn down the house. These are all pretty good. I think I just want Fable. I feel like Goldspan Dragon's just gonna die. But a hasty threat to be able to attack down a Planeswalker also seems great. What's next turn? Next turn we'll have 4 mana and nothing to do with it. I think that makes it Fable. We don't have to take the land. Yeah, we do have to take the land. Okay, we'll put Fable to hand, just to have something to do next turn. And Kaido will outsize the burn down the house, which is unfortunate. It is bizarre that they just keep bluffing it without making a creature. I guess they're trying to beeline the ultimate or something? Okay, if you say so. Play around Chwari Disruption. Oh, it just negates? Okay. We can Voltage Surge Kaito as well, depending on what the opponent does here. I don't know what's going on.
Now, what do we have here?
It does feel like Evelyn. Duress. Okay. Well, now that we know Burn Down the House is going to get taken, I don't think Voltage Surging Kaito makes much sense anymore. Oops. Find Hall. I guess that's better than nothing. So there you go. Our hand has been pretty awkward all game. I think we've definitely gotten away with a lot. Like, if the opponent had minused Kaito in the first place, they would have, what, 3 or 4 more cards in hand at this point? Sure.
Now
This can't be right.
juicy sight.
A null. Okay. Null not great against me. Make this appear pretty good. I think now's the time to play the Tori Runes tapped. Allows us to just slam Toma next turn. Does feel like the opponent probably has a kill spell lined up for it. Are they gonna get the Kaido emblem? They're welcome to.
I know something you don't know.
They pitch an Infernal Grasp knowing we have a Coma in hand. So the question now is, do we want Coma to die or do we want the Hall of Storm Giants to die? If they flash in Evelyn, we're pretty sad. Maybe we're just supposed to wait. Kaido's not really accomplishing a whole lot right now. I guess they can animate the Hive next turn if they ultimate. That would be disaster, so I guess we have to try for Coma. He's gonna die, and I think we just lose. But it's the only thing that blocks the Hive. Yeah. We would have made another creature with which to be able to block the Hive, so it doesn't get to deal combat damage. And now Kaito can ultimate, and the Hive is going to get in. Okay. Definitely glad we played the Coma instead of activating the Hall. But it's like against the opponent's religion here to get value off of the Kaido. They just can't do it. They can't bring themselves to do it. Now we're just going to attack it, and they're going to lose the ability to ultimate. We don't have the mana, unfortunately, to Flame Blast Bolt and activate Hall. Which sucks. They can just blitz it back next turn. I think we have to just say go here. Okay, they've gone for the emblem.
What's the matter? Feeling overwhelmed?
Yeah, so now they're going to get in with at least one of these things. They're going to put Evelyn into play. We're just in really rough shape against that. The Hive is a real problem. They hit a null and a land. Okay. Another burn down the house? Actually, I don't know that we have another one. We find Bank Buster. Okay. Yeah, and it's walked right into the annul. We were pretty hosed anyway, I think, in this spot. Okay. I think opponent played that very badly, and we still found a way to lose. That's disappointing. But I think the sideboard plan is still legit. Try this. Okay. On the play. With a reasonable opening hand. I really don't want my Fable to get negated, so maybe we're just running at the tracker on 3. We'll see. Duress. Okay, well, we now have a pretty reactive hand. I don't think we have the luxury of holding up negate for the opponent's Fable because they can just play around it with most things in their hand. So I think this does mean we just have to play the Bribery Tracker and just go for it. If they play the Fable, at least we can start attacking with these 4/3s. No. That's a pretty good draw, honestly. They take 4. We play this on red. Play a Bank Buster. Yeah, and we couldn't really play around the Fable either because they knew we had the negate, so they were really likely to play something that wasn't Fable last turn. So I think we were much better off just getting the Tracker into play. I want to get this negate out of my hands so that they don't know that we have it anymore. Okay, this is fine. Another Bribery Tracker, okay. Let's start with a draw. See if we find land. Kind of. We'll hold up the gate. Doesn't hit Evelyn, which sucks. Jiki flipping also sucks. That's gonna eat a counter, though. Yeah, Spell Pierce now? Wow, that came off the top. They didn't have that last turn. Pretty good draw. Now we need some help. None is forthcoming. Yeah, we're just in serious trouble. start by cracking a blue. Our own Fable. I think that's what we need. I think we need to dig to find a burn down the house. It's probably the only thing that saves us. And if opponent just has a counterspell for that, then okay, I guess you got me. They pitch a bloodthirsty adversary, that is disgusting. And if they have Evelyn, then we probably just lose on the spot. Oh, Corpse Breaker. Okay, that makes sense why you would throw away the adversary then. So that you can exile it to this ability. Okay. Probably just makes sense to attack here. Nope, they decide they don't want the treasures. We find Quarry Disruption. We're gonna pitch as much as we can, try to find Burn Down the House. And instead... Yeah. Let's try again. Ultimate Dragon. I mean, no, it doesn't work, right? Because they can copy the Blood Tithe Harvester, and that will be able to kill the Goldspan Dragon. Alright. Let's start with attacking with the Briarwood Tracker and see what they do. Alright. Fine with me. And we'll play another one. Try to draw off of it. Let's see if we can find Burn Down the House finally. And we're gonna need it, because they're gonna have the Kiki Jiki combo on our end step. So it has to happen basically now. How many left in the deck? One. Only one Burn Down the House. We have dug super deep for it. I don't think we could have dug deeper. Attacking with the Goldspan Dragon just wasn't an option because they could have copied the Blood Tithe Harvester, make another Blood Token, and then kill the Goldspan Dragon with the ability. It's an interesting attack. Oh, it's because they want to have the 1 mana available to pull off the Kiki Jiki combo on our end step. They did tap out, actually. That is bizarre. Okay. So you're telling me you have Voltage Surge or something? Spikefield Hazard, maybe? Probably not in the 3-color deck. We have our own Voltage Surge. Does another Goldspan Dragon do it? Not quite. Oh my god. The blood with this deck has been unbelievable. Let's try draw. No. That's more land. Yeah, I guess. Why not? I will play this on blue. And now I think the only play here is just Goldspan Dragon and hope it's good enough. We can Voltage Surge one of the Kikis to break up their combo. We have a creature in the graveyard, right? Yeah, so we might as well attack with the Briarbridge Tracker. This is interesting. Okay. 2 lands. Alright. Go to 4. They get a lot of looks at something to kill this dragon. But they are dead to another one off the top. They're also pretty close to dead to just burn down the house for creatures off the top as well. It'd be funny if they had to end up wiping the board. Yep. No blocks. Go to 16. Okay. If the plan is to copy this to give it haste to kill the Goldspan Dragon, we can kill it in response. Except we can't because they have 2 Geeky Cheekies with which to copy it. Okay. But then they have to tap everything. No, we're just not quite there. Not quite. Oh, maybe we are. Let's see. I haven't done the math on this. But they have to tap the Geeky Jeeky and burn a treasure to get this through, which means they can't activate the hive to block anymore. And certainly not now that they've tapped it. This will go away. They have 2 blocks. We'll have 4 attackers. Block, block. They take 3? No, they're dead if they don't have a removal. And if they had removal, they probably would not have spent it on the Goldspan Dragon. Or they probably would have spent it on the Goldspan Dragon instead of going through this. They have another creature. Alright, so we need removal. Need a good top deck. We don't quite have them. Okay. Does that do it? Does this do it? Fable gives us another creature. We can use that to crew the Bank Buster. We attack with 4, 5 things. Block, block, block. We're gonna get the hit with our... How many? 4, 5 things. Yeah, we're gonna get to attack with 5 things and connect with our 2 smallest. We're gonna do 3. That's unbelievable. Actually... work. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need 6 to crew plus 1 to copy. This doesn't stay a creature though, right? It doesn't. I think we're probably toast. But we do force a triple chump block here. But now they have more than enough mana to just make a billion Kiki Jikis on our end of it. So we do need to keep the pressure high. I don't think there was a way to force through lethal. If there was, I'm sure chat will let me know. I will head off the idea to copy the Hall of Storm Giants. If you copy a Hall of Storm Giants, it enters play tapped because you have more than 2 lands in play. guess I could have forced through 2 down. Oh, baby. We don't have triple green. Because I discarded the Bark Channel pathway? Oh, that's tilting. Oh man, did I punt? Oh, I bet I punted. Let's see if I can find another green source to salvage this. I did. I think we... Do I want a shield or do I want another Rhino? Because I also kind of want to destroy one of these blockers to try to kill him. I think it's this. Copy this. We got there. Unbelievable. Oh my god, what a game. Definitely punted at the end there with the discarding the green source. I just sort of thought that it would be easy to cast with that many lamps in play, but it wasn't. But we definitely played to our outs, for sure. I'm happy with how that game went. Okay, 1-0, on to the next one. On the play with a pretty reactive opening hand. There are definitely decks against which this hand is terrible. A lot of good draws, though. Expressive Iteration would be great, Fable would be great, Dragon would be great. It's gonna be tough for the opponent to resolve anything. I think we keep this. There's some chance that we just blood out and die, but I think I like this. I like my chances. Maybe I should have played an untapped red source first. In case we're up against mono white, I'd want to Voltage Surge something on one. Rockfell Veil, so we could be in some sort of mirror. Mirror is going to be tough. Haven't seen a lot of it, so I don't know what the important cards are. Zondu Valley, okay, never mind. We are up against some sort of Gruul. I think a 3-drop is pretty likely to come next turn. 3 drops in Gruul am I scared of? It could be like werewolves. I haven't seen werewolves in a while. I think Dry Disruption will be good later. I think let's get the Briarbridge Tracker onto the battlefield. This will hit something. Let's just get on the board. Against an aggro deck, I think that's what matters most. Gala Greeters, okay. Gala Greeters is gonna die. Are we holding up Joy Disruption or are we playing Fable? I think the answer is we're playing Fable. Let's get this down on... I don't know. We'll hold that. I'm not sure what decision to make on that one, but I definitely want this one on blue, I think. Play Fable. It is scary taking the Chwari shields down over and over again, but I think that this is just too good not to do. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, Gruul stuff. Yeah, Gruul is not in the sideboard. But I think we can probably make some educated guesses about what belongs in the deck. Burn Down the House seems pretty good. I'm pretty sure we don't want this Bank Buster. The removal spell suite seems... We saw Gala Greeters, so I definitely want to keep, like, the cheap removal. Fading Hope is probably pretty good. Although Gala Greeters makes it seem like they want to go wide, not tall. So maybe Fading Hope is not great. I'm pretty sure I want the Dragon's Fire. And Titan of Industry, I'm sure, is quite good. Negates, maybe, are not great. And do I want a Lobster? Probably no. Do I want Coma? Probably no. I guess probably just Fading Hope. Like, we saw very little of their deck, right? They cast one spell and died. So I don't want to over-sideboard into what I think they might be. I think this is okay. Let's keep the core of our deck together. Okay, we have Removal, we have Fable, we have 2 lands, and an Expressive Iteration to find the 3rd. I'm pretty happy with this hand. I want to play Rockfell Vale tapped. I think I want to play this on blue, so as not to let them know that I don't have 1 mana removal. If they play a creature and I have red in play and I don't remove their thing, then they'll know I don't have removal for it. I want them to think that I might. Okay, so Werewolf Pack Leader comes down. We were right that we're probably against wolves. Okay, well now that I've drawn it, I wish I had bluffed it and had them play around it. But we are not letting them untap with Pack Leader. We're just going to decline to reveal, and your Pack Leader. I am not getting Snakeskin Veil today if I can help it. On to Mammoth. Sure. So, like, there is a world where they have, like, Arlen, and we would want to hold up counter magic. That world exists, but I don't think it's the one we're living in. I think we just want to get Fable down. We're playing this card for a reason. It snowballs super well. If we can make it treasure, then our Wolf Research gets way better. We have Balana and Alana. This is probably the worst case scenario. We're gonna take 7 here, I think. Worry about Embercleave anymore. We can pitch 2 cards. I think 1 Expressive Iteration goes because it's a little slow. Make Disappear probably trades with something. But I think I just want to do better. I think we can do better than that. Ooh. That looks better than that. Yeah, so now change of plans, right? We're just attacking and casting Burn Down the House. Do we want another blue? Do we want another green? I think we want another green. Have a board clear. If they can rebuild. That is our only one. Raw dogging the Kazandu Mammoth, sure. Shocking in Shatterskull and Goro Goro. What does that do? That's pretty scary. That's pretty terrifying, honestly. I don't think we can allow that to live. Luckily, we don't have to. Play Gallus and Prismari. Play our Hall Tap. And they don't have a modified creature, but I don't think I want to allow this. No, we'll just kill this. And if they have another, I'll be sad. But not too sad. Like, we're going to cast Goldspan Dragon next turn, we're going to be able to copy it, and life will be great. They have a fight spell. Okay. That would have been a payoff for holding on to the removal spell. So maybe that's my bad. However... we get to play Goldspan Dragon here. And I think we just attack with everything? I don't think I'm super scared of much. We have Voltage Surge that we can't cast, unfortunately. Okay, if you can kill me from 13 from Hero Conan, I'll be impressed. But otherwise I think you're extraordinarily dead. Yeah. Cool. Obviously not up against, like, the best meta deck I've ever seen, but, yeah, it's just, like, it's nice to actually play a match where the opponent is not running a whole lot of interaction, because I get to show you what the deck can actually do. The combination of Voltage Surge and Prismari Dragon is, like, insane. Titan of Industry was going to come down next turn and just stuff the opponent forever. And also, you just got to see the power of the blue-red shell with the green cards. So I'm happy you got to see this game, even though it wasn't, like, the most competitive in the world. Okay, 2-0. One more. Okay, on the draw with a pretty mopey opening hand, truth be told, but we have Dry Disruption to be able to deal with someone's Fable. It seems like every deck in the meta right now is running Fable. And we have Briarbridge Tracker to, like, try to smooth out the draw a little bit. We're playing this deck because we have faith in Briarbridge Tracker. I think it's time to show it. I think it's time for it to show us what it can do. So far, I have not been super impressed with it. Sundown Pass, we are probably up against Hinata. Yeah. Yeah, certainly up against Hinata. This is going to be a test. Yeah, we're just going to say go, and hope they jam Fable into Dry Disruption. Too smart for that. We have our own Fable, which I do not expect to resolve. Just gonna say go. If they resolve Hinata, the game essentially ends, I think. It's gonna be very hard for us to deal with that. We don't have a lot of great removal for it ourselves. So we keep going. Opponent's hand is probably just some combination of Dry Disruptions, Make Disappears, and Goldspan Dragons. So we got time. Do we play Fable now that we have Dry Disruption back up? Dry Disruption is just getting worse and worse as the game goes on. Play Tracker, play around, like, Negate and Make Disappear. Alright. I think that's fine. That just resolved. Alright. In retrospect, maybe the play I made would have been better in games 2 and 3 after the opponent boards out their removal. Now we're pretty scared of, well, a lot. Alright. Yeah, it does feel like we're just out power leveled by the Hinata deck. Especially in game 1. You find Titan of Industry, which I guess is not the worst. Let's start by going to combat. See if we're allowed to get in. We are. I would love to be able to cast Titan next turn. I also really want to find, like, a Make Disappear for their Magma Opus. I think it's Fable here. Like, we're behind. I think we're the beatdown. Yeah. And now I think we just play one of these tap. Just guarantee that we'll be able to cast the Titan of Industry. But, yeah, we're the beatdown. I think we need to take risks. I think our game 1 matchup against this is quite poor. If they have Make Disappear, then we're just in deep trouble. But yeah, the opponent just resolved 2 uncontested Goldspan Dragons, and we kind of rolled over and died. So the Titan of Industry is going to have to resolve or the game ends. If they have Magma Opus, at least they can't cast it yet. They only have 7 mana available. Definitely jealous of my opponent's hand. We've got another Dwarry Disruption, and we're gonna slam Titan of Industry and hope it sticks. Alright. Give me a shield. Do I want to gain life? Or do I want a Rhino? I think I want a Rhino just to be able to, like, put the Fear of God into him. If you have, like, Fading Hope or something, then I guess you win. Valor Stamp, yeah, that's good. Okay, and we are dead on board. So that's a pretty tough game one, gotta say. I think we played pretty reasonably. I guess. Is there anything more aggressive we could have done in the early turns? We did take a few turns off to avoid slamming, avoiding slamming our own Fable of the Mirror Breaker. But that's just kind of a consequence of being on the draw. It's kind of like you kind of just have to do that, I think. Maybe on the play, game one gets easier, but on the draw, game one feels very hard. Maybe we are just supposed to slam Fable. In any case, post board, we bring in Spell Pierces, Strokes, Negate, Test of Talents, Tangle Trap. You can tell just by the sheer number of cards that we're bringing in that game one is not intended to be good. In come the Hullbreaker Horrors, and interestingly, in come the Fading Hope. I think that's supposed to be against like Dragonstorm though, not Hinata. But I guess Fading Hope is good against Hinata too. We brought in 12 cards to the board. Yeah, okay, so that I think losing game one is probably pretty expected in that case. We're actually supposed to board out a land in this matchup too. And all of the creatures as well, except for the trackers, which is interesting. Including the Titan of Industry. I guess the understanding is that this opponent is going to have a lot of access to disdainful strokes and stuff. So I guess this is it. Just bad Izzet control. Splashing Briar Bridge Tracker. This doesn't feel good. I gotta say this feels pretty terrible. But we'll see how it goes. Alright, so on the play, we have a copy of Voltage Surge that's unlikely to hit anything. We have a Hullbreaker Horror that we don't want to cast till much later in the game. We have a Fading Hope that doesn't really achieve all that much. So I think we're gonna mull this hand into something pretty significantly better. We keep this and we put back a land. I think so. On the play, I'm pretty happy to slam the Bankbuster onto. On the draw, I think we would have to think a little harder about it, but I think this one's easy. Now we get to hold up Dwarry Disruption for their Fable, and if they don't do anything, we get to draw off the Bankbuster. I also find Spell Pierce, that's pretty good. Just give me more red, I think, to be able to cast Gold Pendragon on time. Say go. Being able to hold up Spell Pierce as well with the Bankbuster is outstanding. What's better, Spell Pierce or Dwarry Disruption? Dwarry Disruption hits dragons and stuff. So Spell Pierce this. Also, it allows us to draw with the Bankbuster, of course. Okay. We're kind of doing it. We have Stroke available, we have Dwarry Disruption available. We're drawing cards. This still feels tenuous. 4 mana go. drawing lots of lands, though. We have blooded out in a pretty big way. Does that mean we're supposed to draw off the Bankbuster now? What would we draw off the Bankbuster now that we would want to play? I don't think the answer is anything at all. So let's just do this because it maximizes the bluff value. Iteration, you got it. Maybe there we should have dug for negate, but I'm pretty sure that their hand's just like draw disruptions, make disappears. There was probably no harm to digging in response, though. Now we're gonna get to start attacking with it. We did fun. Great. Ankle Trap's good. Play this on red, and we're just gonna crew. Just get in. Go to 16. Say go. Nice. Alright. Like I said, the play draw difference is dramatic. If we had tried to cast the Bankbuster on 2 on the draw, I guarantee you it would have been countered. And then the game goes from there. But getting it down early on the play was great. Now, we have to do it again. This time we're doing it on the draw. So I don't have high hopes, but we'll see what happens. On the draw, this hand I think is pretty close to what we're looking for. Like, we don't have any of our proactive plays, but if we did, we probably wouldn't want to make them. We have Spell Pierce, we have Stroke, and Iteration to refuel after that's all said and done. I think we're pretty pleased with this. Opponent is going to be able to get under us on turn 2 if they have a Bankbuster of their own, because we won't be able to hold up Spell Pierce on 1. That will hurt. If opponent slams Bankbuster there, we're in some trouble. Okay, so this is the same situation I was talking about in the, like, when game 2 ended. Excuse me. We slam Bankbuster here, they counter it, and they slam Fable, and the game ends. Like, we can't catch up from that. So we have to pump the brakes and go slow. Hope they blink first, then we resolve our Bankbuster and hope to go from there. If make disappear, we don't have the option here to play Bankbuster again. Also, our mana is not great. We only have the 1 blue source. Would have hoped to have drawn more by now. Opponent is on that draw-go plan. Okay, now that we've drawn the second Bankbuster, I think I am okay. Excuse me. I think I am okay playing 1. I assume it gets countered. It doesn't. Wow, that's wild. Okay, great. So we get to hold up Stroke and Pierce. They could have, like, Prismari Command, although most decks are not running Prismari Command right now. Oh, they do have it. This is an interesting spot. If we take the shields down here, then they're going to get to Slam Dragon, and there's not going to be anything we can do about it. I think we just have to let this go. And just accept that we got basically 1 for 1 there. We do really badly want to find land here. This is going to get Make Disappeared, I think. If they have their own Spell Pierce in the game. They have something. They do have Spell Pierce. Okay, and now we're in deep trouble. Yeah, that was the worst case scenario, obviously, and now I'm not sure that we're ever getting back into this game. So we need to kill that dragon. That's a pretty important priority. We can achieve it at extreme cost by playing Bankbuster and sacrificing it to Voltage Surge and hoping they don't have a counterspell. think that is going to be what we try. They're on 2 cards in hand. We're going to try this Bankbuster. Does it resolve? I'm going to try drawing, and if they have another counterspell, I think I just sort of accept at this point that the game is over. I really want to get cards off this Bankbuster. I guess I don't have to. I can do this, sacrifice it, and hold up Spell Pierce, and that'll guarantee that the dragon dies. I do have the Express iteration to refuel. Okay, I hate this, but I think it's forced. Okay, and yeah, now they have the extra treasure with which to pay for the Spell Pierce. Yeah, that's gonna be ball game, I think. We already made our land drop for this turn, so I guess we're just saying go. They get to attack us for 11 here, if that's what they choose to do. This just feels really, really hard. I guess I should have tried on their upkeep as well. And now I guess we're trying to find and force through a burn down the house that we can't even cast. Yeah, this is pretty rough. I guess I was supposed to draw off the Bankbuster. Keeping up Spell Pierce wasn't a valuable enough proposition. And I could have played it right. I could have just, if I had done the math correctly, I would have noticed that they would have gotten the treasure off of me targeting the dragon to be able to pay for the Pierce. So, it is my fault. But at the same time, let's be honest with ourselves. I don't feel like this was really a match that we were ever likely to win. Alright. Yeah, I mean, either this resolves or we lose. And I don't think there's any two ways about it. But, Guard Command was pretty good. They had a timely Spell Pierce. Valorous Stance was able to protect the dragon. Their hand just lined up really well against our interaction. This is one of our better interactive hands, too. If they don't have that Valorous Stance, though, maybe we win. Like, if we got this dragon off the board, then we get to, maybe they attack with Haul or whatever, and we get to untap, slam our own Fable. Have a bunch of counter magic back up. Yeah, it's really good. With the ability to pay for Spell Pierce, and this does 2 to us, and we're dead on board. Okay. Because they're going to activate the Haul next turn. So, good game. That's a tough matchup. And so I guess in the final analysis, this deck I don't think is good enough against Jeskai Hinata to beat it on a regular basis. I think that this is probably why the deck didn't see a lot of play. Briarbridge Tracker did not impress me. And if you don't have a good matchup against Jeskai Hinata, I don't think you can expect success in Standard right now. The deck wasn't super popular, but I think people who were playing mid-range finally got tired of losing to it, and some people made the switch. Enough people made the switch to the blue-red base decks that I don't think this deck is good enough to be playable right now. So don't do as I do as I say, and I say play a different deck. But we were 2-1, so, it can't be that bad. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you thought of the arena content. Let me know what you think about me doing more Pioneer content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.